Hello, friends. Welcome. I am Dr. Justine Lemos, and I want to take a moment to welcome you. I'm super honored to guide you through today's exploration of the moon in Vedic astrology. Together we'll uncover the wisdom of your moon sign, its nakshatra, and its connection to the emotional mind, to spiritual energy, and the karmic path. I'm just typing to a friend who's trying to come in, and I will see here. Okay, very good. We're all coming in and joining up for this special event live stream. So let's dive in. For those who don't know me or who are new to my work, I'm a Vedic astrologer, an Ayurvedic practitioner, and a yoga teacher with over 20 years of experience. My practice integrates the ancient sciences of Ayurveda, of Tantra, of yoga, and Vedic astrology to help you align with your highest self. I just came out of a 3-day panchakarma with a client that moved right across the energy of the new moon. If you don't know what panchakarma is a traditional method where we offer deep restoration for clients, deep restoration and detoxification and purification. It means 5 actions, and there are 5 great actions of Ayurveda. And typically we do these like very large, it's considered to be like surgery in Ayurveda, but we aren't cutting into anyone. We're just doing very deep work at all the layers of the self. And this panchakarma crossed right over the new moon. And the new moon and its energy played a great deal of significance into the energy of this panchakarma ritual in particular. And I'll talk about that a little bit as we go on, of what happened and why, and how it's so interesting to watch the placement of the moon at specific junctures. So today we'll talk about the significance of the moon in Vedic astrology and its role in your emotional and spiritual life. We'll talk about the relationship between the moon and the pranamaya kosha, or the energetic sheath of the body. And we'll talk about how the moon in the cosmic array of the chakras, all the planetary energies relate to the chakras, how it relates to the left petal of the third eye, the left petal of the chakra, your intuition, and your emotional mind. And also the moon's expression in the zodiac, in each sign, as its role as the queen of the planetary energies. I'll also dive into the myth of the moon, of Chandra and his 27 wives, and how they relate to the nakshatras, the star signs of Vedic astrology. And so this is going to be deeply enriching. If you know your moon sign, you can share it in the chat. If you don't, oh good, hi Anne, you made it in. If you don't know your moon sign, we're using a system of Vedic astrology. So Vedic astrology is different than Western astrology. I won't go at length as to why. Basically, the Sumerians and the Greeks learned astrology from Vedic civilization, and they left out several things that they didn't find important or useful. And so the Vedic astrology is actually accurate to what is in the sky, whereas Western astrology is not. I still have tilak on my forehead from the panchakarma. So if you know your moon sign in Vedic astrology, you can put it in the chat. If you don't, you can easily put your birth date and time and place into a website or into even Google. It will probably at this point calculate for you what your moon size is in Vedic astrology. Or if you'd like me to quickly pull up your chart and calculate your moon sign, you can, both the sign and the nakshatra, if you know what those things are. If you don't, that's fine. We're going to dive more into it. So first, I want to talk about the moon and its relationship to the mind in Vedic astrology. The moon is the planet that rules over the emotional mind. And actually, there are 3 different aspects of the nervous system. And it's like a fist with the thumb inside, with the reptilian stem down here, the emotional mind in here, and then the upper cognition here, the analytical mind. And this analytical mind is Mercury in the Vedic astrological chart. This emotional mammalian mind is the moon. And then down here, the reptilian animalistic part of the nervous system, the automatic nervous system, is Mars. And so the moon in Vedic astrology, it's thought to rule over your feelings and your intuition, your subconscious patterns. And the moon reflects the ever-changing nature of our emotions as it waxes and wanes in the sky. The moon moves a different star sign almost every day, usually every day. And it also is constantly waxing, constantly waning. And so the moon is always changing. When the moon is very strong in the chart, we have a lot of emotional balance and clarity and inner peace. And when it's weak or afflicted or starving, we can feel emotionally unstable or anxious or disconnected from intuition. Now, I need to pause here and say that we are coming up on the most auspicious day in the Vedic astrological calendar, which is called Akshaya Tritiya. Tritiya means 3rd day after the full or new moon. So we had the new moon on Sunday. If you're in California, it happened at 12:31 Pacific Standard Time, and the new moon was in Bharani Nakshatra, the star sign She Who Bears. And so, and let me know, friends, hopefully the sound is sounding good and we're all doing well here. But now the 3rd day after this new moon is the day this month. It happens one day in the calendar. It's called Akshaya Tritiya, and it is the day that the sun is in its favorite place in Aries and the moon is in its favorite place, her favorite place, in Taurus. And when the sun and the moon are exalted and it's 3 days after the new moon, it's called Akshaya Tritiya. And this is considered the most auspicious day in the calendar. It's a good day for launching new projects. It's a good day for starting things. It's a good day for making donations because they're multiplied hundreds and hundreds of times. And this is a very auspicious day that we're coming right up to. So the moon governs what we call the prana maya kosha, the energy sheath that governs our life force. And actually, we can talk at length. And actually, on Friday in my Chandra Jyoti Vedic Astrology group, we're going to be talking about the chakras, the koshas, and the gunas as relate to Vedic astrology. Hey guys, somebody let me know in the chat if we sound good, if you can hear me. I'm going to double check. I'm on my default microphone. We should be quite good. But if we aren't, that isn't happy. And so I'll want to know, is the sound good? Great. We have an answer. Virgo, you think your moon is in Virgo in Rohini. Oh, good. Thank you, friends. Okay. So if you know your moon sign, Rohini is not in Virgo. So if your moon is in the star sign of Rohini, then the moon would be in Taurus. You can type in your birth data and I'll look at the charts. Now, is it in Cancer in Vedic astrology? That's a question. And then where in Cancer? Okay, so we're going to talk about the koshas, but the interesting thing about the koshas in this, there are many interesting things. The pranamaya kosha, which is the energy body, it connects the physical body to the subtle body. The moon's energy flows through the pranamaya kosha, the energy body, and the pranamaya kosha is the kingdom of the plants. of herb wisdom, of plant medicine, and of the waters. The waters of the body connect to pranamaya kosha. The annamaya kosha, the physical body, connects to the world of minerals, actually, of minerals. And the pranamaya kosha is the minerals and earth, the annamaya kosha, the physical body. And the next layer of the self is the energy body, and it relates to the moon. It relates to the world of the plants. And, you know, plants grow on a lunar cycle. And it's considered that when the moon is full, all of the ojas, all of the lunar energy of the herbs is at its fullest. And then when the moon is new, all of that energy is less. So that's why it's good to plant seeds at the new moon. And that is the ancient wisdom of planting seeds at the new moon, and then they grow. Okay, late Cancer in Western astrology, it will change in Vedic astrology, I'm nearly sure. So, and so in my Chandra Jyoti Vedic astrology study group, we will be in Zoom. Just here, I'm doing a live stream to make it a little bit cleaner for you all and for the recording that's going to go in the network here. So when the moon energy is balanced and then prana flows freely, and it supports our vitality, our emotional harmony. And, you know, practices that help the energy of the moon are pranayama, because the moon deals with the pranamaya kosha. And the emotional, and moon salutations and meditations all help to align with the moon's rhythm. And so I want to talk a bit about the moon in each zodiac sign, and then I'll take a look at the times that you've put in, and we can just see where the moon is. The moon in Vedic astrology is symbolic of the queen, the mother. It's the most nurturing planet. Every planetary energy has a key signature phrase, and the moon is I nurture. It is the ability to take care of yourself and others. And it's the part of you that seeks emotional security and the comfort of home. The moon is the natural ruler of the natural fourth house of the zodiac, the natural fourth house of the zodiac of Cancer. It's the ruler of Cancer, which if we put all the signs in their houses in a row, it will be the fourth house. Cancer is the fourth house, and the fourth house is the home, the mother. And so it's that secure base. And when the moon is in harmony, you feel balanced and at ease. And when it's out of alignment, you can experience emotional instability and or the feeling of being ungrounded. And so the moon sign, the zodiac sign, the 12 zodiac signs, the moon reflects the sign reflects your emotional nature, while the nakshatra, the star sign, reveals the karmic patterns that you're here to work through. And understanding your moon sign is essential for aligning with the inner self, for navigating life's challenges with grace. And in fact, when you go to a temple in India, when we go to temple in India, then they announce, the pandit, the priest, announces you to the gods. When you go to do your puja, they announce you to the gods by saying, this is your name and this is your moon star sign. This is your nakshatra. And that's considered to be your energetic signature. And actually the spiritual name is then calculated from the placement of the moon sign. Because every nakshatra, every step of the nakshatra, there are 4 padas in each nakshatra, they correspond to a Sanskrit sound. And then that Sanskrit seed sound is then used to calculate a spiritual name. So, what are the 12 signs? And how does the moon in those signs give a flavor to that particular person's mind, their particular emotional flavor. So moon in Misha in Aries is bold and passionate and action-oriented. It is emotionally energized by challenges, but will need to manage impatience. Moon in Taurus is grounded and nurturing and comfort-seeking. It thrives on stability, but can struggle with attachment to material security. Moon is exalted in Taurus. It's where it reaches its highest expression. But in that highest expression, it becomes almost too much. So Moon in Taurus is like too much of a homebody. Moon in Gemini is very curious and communicative and adaptable. In Maituna is the name of Gemini in Vedic astrology. Your emotions can shift quickly, but you find comfort in intellectual stimulation, too much comfort almost. Moon in Cancer. Cancer is its own sign. And it's deeply nurturing, very intuitive and sensitive, and feels safe in emotional connection to others. This is a water sign. Again, moon is the water energy and is connected to that watery energy. But moon in Cancer can have a lot of mood swings. Moon in Simha in Leo is warm and expressive and creative and shines emotionally when they feel appreciated, but can need to temper pride. Virgo, moon in Virgo, in Kumari in Virgo, is practical and analytical and service-oriented. We can find emotional security in helping others, but overthinking can create a lot of anxiety. Moon in Libra is harmonious and diplomatic and relationship focused. But here we seek emotional balance in partnerships, but can struggle with indecision. Moon in Libra can get really wishy-washy, this way, that way. You know, the key word is I balance, but what are we balancing? Moon in Scorpio is where moon is debilitated. It's starving. It can't shine its light that deep underwater. And moon in Scorpio is intense and transformative, can be deeply emotional, but the emotions can be underwater. And we're drawn here to uncovering emotional truths, but we can be very possessive with moon in Scorpio. Moon in Sagittarius is very optimistic and adventurous and freedom-loving. We feel emotionally fulfilled because moon is always emotional fulfillment through exploration, but Sagittarius moon can avoid deeper emotions. Moon in Capricorn is very disciplined and responsible and grounded, and we thrive on emotional structure, but we can suppress feelings in favor of practicality. Moon in Aquarius is innovative and independent and humanitarian. We can feel emotionally aligned when contributing to the greater good, but we can struggle with detachment. And then moon in Pisces is very dreamy and intuitive and compassionate. We're deeply empathic, but we need to ground ourselves to avoid emotional overwhelm. So let me know if any of these resonate with you. I will take a look at where your moon sign is placed, and then if you put in the birth time if you like to, and then I will talk about the nakshatras, the star signs, a little bit before we sign off. So let me know what is interesting to you about any of this. So Anne, your moon is in Rohini in Taurus. The moon is exalted in the star sign of Rohini in Taurus at 17 degrees and 18 minutes. So right there in Taurus. And then Marlene, let's look here. I'll just have to cast the chart very quickly. I think your moon, we'll see. I shouldn't actually predict because the moon changes almost every day. So it's hard to say. You know, there are some free apps which you can use to calculate Vedic astrology. Marlene, do you know? There's the time. there's one called Jyotish D, which is quite good. It's free. And then there's Cosmic Insights, which is quite good. And then there are other free ones online. I use a software called Parsha's Light. There's also one called Sri Jyotish Star. So your moon, Marlene, September 17th, 1949, is in its own sign, in Cancer, in Punarvasu Nakshatra. That is the return of the light, the star of return of the light. So moon is in Cancer for you in Vedic astrology, at 3 degrees and 9 minutes, just moving into Cancer. And then, Anastasia, do you know if you have Taurus moon in Vedic astrology, or is it in Western astrology? Because it will change. And what's funny here is you're on a moon sign webinar, and everyone has very good moon placement. We have exalted moon, we have moon in own sign, and then we have another Taurus moon that is exalted moon. So of course these people with really good lunar energy in their chart are like, oh yeah, decode their moon sign, decode my moon sign seminar. That is for me. Like, I need to go to that because this is like where I have really good energy. 11:01 a.m. I like that symmetric time. 1 a.m. I'm just casting your chart really quickly, Anastasia. While I'm doing this, let me know in the chat, and where is it, Anastasia? I'll need a place. Let me know in the chat how this all is resonating with you, and then I will talk about the star signs, the nakshatras. So until I get that place, I can't do the chart without a place. Okay. So let's talk about the nakshatras, because they are the lunar constellations that the moon travels through on a monthly cycle. And the myth, will this be recorded? Yes, it will be recorded. It is recorded and it will be placed. And Anastasia, if you want to put the place you were born, that's helpful because I can look at your chart. And then there's a question, is it true that the typing is coming in? Okay, so in Vedic mythology, not in the astrology, in the astrology, the moon is feminine, but in the mythology, thank you, Anastasia, in the mythology, slightly different, the moon is male. And this is a real strange thing, because in most mythologies, the moon is female. But that's just how it is. And the moon is considered to be a great playboy who has, yes, Anastasia, your moon is exalted, also moon in Rohini Nakshatra, exalted in Taurus. And so everybody who's here is, yeah, I got it in. Anastasia, everyone here has this like beautiful moon placement, and that's why you're on this seminar. Is it true that the sun is a different place in what as well? Absolutely. And Marlene, yes, it is interesting that your moon in Cancer went from late to early. Almost everything will travel backwards in Vedic astrology because of the progression of the equinoxes. What the ancients didn't learn is that Greeks and Sumerians didn't learn that the equinoxes are progressing in a mathematical sense. And so if you take a star app to look at the stars astronomically, and you look and see where is Venus, it will be actually in the sky in a different place than Western astrology states. Western astrology is factually wrong to what is in the sky, and Vedic astrology is astronomically precise. So this is the exact placement of the moon in the sky at your birth time. And the sun will also travel back. In Western astrology, my sun sign is in Cancer. It's not. It's actually in Gemini. And so it will almost, and the reason why yours moves from late to early is it was so late in Western astrology that it moves back not quite enough to move back into Gemini, right? Okay. So onto Chandra and his wives. Chandra, according to myth, got married to the 27 daughters of Daksha, who's the great architect of the universe. And these 27 wives are the 27 nakshatras, or the lunar constellations. And these are actually star placements in the sky. They're sub parts of signs, and they're actually astronomical star points. So like Ardra, which is a star sign within Gemini, is Betelgeuse, which is the eye of Orion. It's like the star that is the eye of Orion. So we have actual star names for the star signs. It's very cool. So when Chandra married all of these wives, so many wives, 27 wives, he promised to give equal attention to each of his wives. But the one that he liked the most was Rohini. Two of you, friends, have your moon in Rohini. He loves Rohini. That's where the moon is exalted, in Rohini, who is the most beautiful and the most nurturing of the star signs. She is the, you know, the maiden on the cart headed to market, just like flowers everywhere. She's the red one. And all of the other wives got very angry because he spent all of his time with Rohini. And they complained to their father, Daksha. And in response, Daksha cursed Chandra, the moon. And the moon started to die. And what happened when the moon began to die, actually, he got tuberculosis, it said. Well, actually, later in the myth, he gets tuberculosis. But the moon started to die, and all of a sudden, everyone on Earth was like, oh my God, if the moon dies, we're done for, which is true. The placement of the moon is absolutely critical to there being life on Earth. No moon, no life on Earth. And having just that one moon placed exactly where it is, we can adjust your time, but 6 minutes won't change much, Anastasia. Your moon will still be in Rohini. It's 11 degrees Rohini. It won't change. But it's absolutely critical for the moon to be placed exactly as far as it is from the Earth. Oh, Anastasia, your moon moves over into Kritika Nakshatra from Rohini. So it's still in Taurus, it's still at its exaltation point, but it's in a new nakshatra sign, the sign of Kritika, which is the star of burning. And so all life on Earth starts to die because there's no more tides, there's no more lunar cycles, plants can't grow, and everything starts to die. And so all the people on Earth go pray to Lord Shiva, the Lord of Yoga. And the thing is that Shiva cannot remove curses, but he could change it. And so instead of dying, he allowed the moon to wax and wane in cycles. And in this way, the moon is thought to have like tuberculosis. It's a very phlegmy energy. And this myth also is about emotion. It's about visiting all of the different emotions instead of staying just with the emotion that makes us feel the most. And it also teaches us about the moon's dual nature, its ability to nurture, but also its tendency to become very, very attached. It reminds us to seek balance in our emotional lives and to honor all the aspects of the self. Just as Chandra has to honor all 27 nakshatra, all 27 star signs. So let's talk a little bit about the star signs, the nakshatras, what they are, and their specific emotional tendencies, karmic patterns, and spiritual purposes. So every nakshatra is associated with a ruling planet, a deity, unique energies, symbols, and signs that add depth to understanding our moon sign and our subconscious motivations. So I'll just go, there are 27 of them. I'll go through them pretty quickly. I spent time with a teacher who did 3 hours on every single one of the 27 moon signs. One way to study the moon signs, the star signs, those nakshatras, and to really understand their energies, and we will be doing this in our Chandra Jyoti Vedic Astrology study group that starts on Friday, is to take a 27 days, 28 days, and make note of the star sign on every day, and make note, like in a journal, of what happens. Make notes about how you feel. Make notes of any signs and symbols that you see around you, and that way you begin to understand the flavor and energy of each of those star signs. So the first star sign, starting in Aries, there are about 3 star signs for each zodiac sign, and some cross over between the signs, and some are just smack in the middle of signs. So Ashwini starts at the beginning of Aries, and the symbols are is a horse head, and the ruling planet is Ketu, the south node of the moon, and these are the twin horse-headed physicians to the gods. And every star sign has its mythology, but this star sign is about healing. It's very quick. It's known as the swift star. It's very adventurous. It's very pioneering. It's Aries, moving out of the gate. From Ashwin, we move to Bharani. And Ashwini literally means the horse, you know. We have Ashwini Mudra in yoga, which is an engaging of the root lock. Hey, Mira, how are you? Srimatre Namaha, your moon sign, well, I won't announce it to the group unless it's okay with you. Bharani is the next of those lunar signs, and that's where we just had the new moon, and the symbol is the yoni, the womb, and the ruling planet is Venus. And it's very creative, intense, transformative, disciplined. The symbol here is the yoni, a clay pot, a boat that helps us cross over the waters. From Ashwini to Bharani, then we move to Kritika. And Kritika is between Aries and Taurus. It is between, it's in both of those larger signs. And Kritika is a razor or a flame. It is the burning star, and the ruling planet is the sun. It's very fiery, it's determined, it's sharp, and it's protective. From Kritika, we move to Rohini, which is the middle of Taurus, and that's the favorite wife of the moon. It's the moon's exaltation place. Mira says it's okay. Srimatre Namaha. Mira's moon is in Anuradha, in Scorpio. So I'll be talking about that star sign. Rohini is in the middle of Taurus. The symbol is a chariot or an ox cart. The ruling planet is the moon. So the moon loves to be in this lunar place. It's nurturing, it's sensitive, it's creative, it's fertile. And all of these star signs also have this beautiful overreaching myth that is really the life cycle of a goddess, that we can reach down into the energies of each of these and pull out this beautiful lunar myth that's there, this larger lunar myth that is the world tree. It's very beautiful. And from Rohini, and in these star signs, they're considered to be earlier than the later zodiac. And I think that in them we find these proto-myths, for lack of a better word, that then we find in cultures all over the world. And I hate to be a universalist, and Joseph Campbell has many problems with his theories, let me tell you, and have been greatly refuted in academia. However, there are these overarching themes that we then find in other mythologies in the world. So how that happened, I'll leave it be, but it's nice to make these connections, I think. The next lunar star sign is Mrigashira, and the symbol is a deer or a deer's head. And the ruling planet is Mars. And this is a very curious, gentle, exploratory kind of energy. And again, this star sign moves between Taurus and Gemini. It's got half in each. And the Gemini side is different than the Taurus side. From Mrigashira, we move to Ardra, which is the teardrop. And the ruling planet is Rahu, the north node of the moon. And this is a very intense, emotional, transformative, and stormy star sign. This can be very turbulent when we have energies in Ardra Nakshatra. Like when the moon, if there's a full moon or new moon in Ardra, like cue the waterworks. We can cry a lot here. Then we move from moon in Ardra in Gemini to moon in Punarvasu Nakshatra. And Punarvasu Nakshatra is the return of the light. And the symbol here is a bow and quiver that is endlessly shot forward. It is a never-ending quiver, bow of arrows that we can just keep pulling and shooting. And so this is very optimistic and nurturing and adaptable energy. The ruling planet is Jupiter, and the deity form here is Aditya, the primal and first goddess. From Punarvasu is another one of those signs that straddles two. So it's half in Gemini, half in Cancer. And then we move to Pushya. We're right in the middle of Cancer. So Cancer is the most nurturing of signs. This is the moon's own sign. And Pushya is the cow's udder. It's very beautiful. Pushya people with Pushya placements or moon in Pushya or like ascendant in Pushya love to feed people. They are really good cooks and they just love to offer the food. The ruling planet is Saturn and is very wise and generous and nurturing and spiritual. And from Pushya, still in Cancer, we move to Ashlesha. And Ashlesha Nakshatra is the sign of the twisted snakes, the serpents. And the ruling planet is Mercury. This is a very mysterious, intuitive, transformative, hypnotic energy. I have a lot of placements in Ashlesha, full transparency. And this star sign is the sign of taking poison and turning it to nectar, of eating that homeopathic medicine, the snake's venom that is the cure for the snake bite itself. Okay, I'm going to pause here. We're getting halfway through, and there's actually a very important breaking point, not breaking point, but demarcation point right here after Ashlesha. So let me pause and see if you have any questions or if this is interesting to you all. And I'll drink some water. Okay, I must be abundantly clear. So at the end of Cancer is a place in the zodiac that we call the Gandanta. And the Gandanta is the spiritual knot. And this happens at 3 places in the zodiac where a fire sign meets a water sign. So this is where Cancer and Leo meet, fire and water. It is where Scorpio and Sagittarius meet, fire and water. It is where Pisces and Aries meet, fire and water. And those are also places where there is no star sign that is split between 2 signs. And I'll show you a diagram of this in a moment so you can see those star signs. And so it's this clean demarcation. And when planets have to move between these fire and water signs, it's called the Gandanta, the spiritual knot. And it's considered to be difficult. It's considered to be difficult to move between fire and water. So, something that we look at is are there a lot of planets, or are there planets in the Gandanta, in the spiritual knot? Okay, there's karma that this person is working out in this lifetime. Okay. So after Ashlesha, then we move into Leo and we move into the star sign of Magha. So now this is sitting upon the throne in Leo. This is the goddess sitting on her throne. Magha is the royal one. And the ruling planet is Ketu. So we're back to the beginning of the cycle of planets. They move through a very particular cycle. And we move back to Ketu as the ruling planet, south node of the moon. And Magha is very proud and traditional and leadership oriented. And from Ketu, then we move to Purva Falguni. And Purva Falguni, which is in Leo, is the early part of marriage. So it's like the goddess ascends to her throne and then she takes the consort. And Purva Falguni, one of the symbols is a hammock or a bed. It's ruled over by the sun, and it's very generous and stable and supportive. And it's luxurious and artistic and very romantic. We have these early and latter star signs that are split throughout the chart. And this is an early one. And so then we move into Uttara Falguni, the latter fruit. And the symbol is a bed. And this is very generous, very stable. This is contractual aspects of marriage. From there, we move into Virgo. Uttara Falguni is between Leo and Virgo. And we move into the star sign of the hand, Hasta Nakshatra. And this is really resourceful and clever and practical. From there, we move into Chitra, which is a shining jewel. This is where we dig in, we do practical work in Virgo, and we pull out jewels. We create wealth. Very charismatic, very artistic, very visionary. From Chitra, we move to Swati, and now we're in Libra, which is a sword or a little tiny plant growing up. And it's very independent, very adaptable, very diplomatic. From there, we're moving from Vishaka into Vishaka, which is a triumphant gateway, which is very ambitious, very determined, very passionate. And then we move in Vishaka all the way to Scorpio. This is the debilitation point of the moon. And we move into Anuradha Nakshatra, the friend of Radha, and the symbol is a lotus. And this is very devoted energy, very loyal energy, very spiritual energy. And we move there to Jesta, the heart of Scorpio. And again, Scorpio meets Sagittarius. It's this Gandanta point, the spiritual knot. And the symbol here is a circular amulet. The ruler is Mercury, and this is very intense occult energy. And from there, we move to Mula, all the way down, the twisted tide roots. That is the black hole at the center of the universe. Very investigative, getting to the root of the matter, transformative and deep. And then we move to Purva Ashada, the early victory, a fan, optimistic, ambitious, inspiring. This is Ganesh energy. And then Uttara Ashada, the elephant tusk, disciplined, goal-oriented, make it through to the victory. And then we're moving now into Capricorn. And the symbol, the Shravana, is the ear. It's very wise and communicative. And then the 23rd nakshatra is Dhanishta, the drum. Musical and generous and prosperous. And then Shatabhishaka, a circle with lightning bolts into it. And this is 10,000 healers. And then finally, we move into Purva Bhadrapada, which is the early happy feet, intense, electricity, spiritual. This is spiritual awakening. Uttara Bhadrapada, this is the funeral cot burning. And then the last star sign is Revati, the star of transcendence, which is the fish, which is nurturing and spiritual and peaceful. So these are all the nakshatras very briefly. And in the Chandra Jyoti Vedic Astrological group, we're going to study each one in depth. We're going to go deep into each one so that we really understand first the signs, the planets, the houses, and then the nakshatras, so that we can really live in resonance into these, into the understanding our moon and its placement. Okay, so, you know, the moon shapes who we are, our romantic relationships, our emotional tendencies, our life purposes. And if our moon is in Rohini, you might feel like connected to beauty or art or nurturing others, but we might have to balance possessiveness or attachment. And then there are different remedies for each moon sign. And so like if your moon is in Ashwini, that's the quick star, we might need to do energizing pranayam or brisk walks to kind of balance out the fiery nature. Like we have to kind of manage that like horse energy that wants to go ahead. So let me know if you have any questions. We have time for some questions here before I sign off. And I'll talk as you write in your questions. I'd love to answer anything that you're curious about. I'll talk a little bit about what we're doing in our Chandra Jyoti Vedic Astrology Study Group. So this is a study group that I am leading. It starts on Friday, on May 2nd. And it's going to be here in a private, secret part of the Mighty Network. And people can join for a month. They can join for a year, however they like. If you do it, if you're in that group for a year, you'll have a strong understanding of Vedic astrology. 1 month, how much can we do in 1 month? But you'll learn something. We'll meet weekly and dive deep into our charts, into planetary influences, into cosmic rhythms, and we'll start to understand the foundations and then deeper layers of Vedic astrology. I've been studying Vedic astrology for 15 plus years, and it's like I'm always learning something new. It's a very, very, very deep and rich art. So we're starting this Friday, right after Akshaya Tritiya, this like beautiful exalted sun, exalted moon day. We're starting on a Friday, Venus Lakshmi Friday. It'll be 10:30 on Fridays. Recorded if you can't make live. It will be on Zoom. There are like 6 spots left. So if you're interested, let me know. I can also put in the chat the link to it. You've done a chart with a few times with birth time, and it's saying, Rohini, what software are you using is the question. Because there are different settings in the software. Oh, and you know what? I don't have your birth time in here. Somehow it jumped around. Let me add in your birth time because it may still be Rohini. Let's see. We decided it was 11:37 and it was saying 0000. Let me add in your birth time and see what it says. Reset to 0. Yep, Rohini. 11 degrees at 39 minutes. So hopefully we're in agreement on that moon in Rohini. Let's see here. Yes, you're welcome. Absolutely. I'm glad we got that straight. Which is why the birth sign is important. That said, there are practices that we do in Vedic astrology that don't require birth time, because oftentimes the birth time isn't known, and yet we still want to take information from the Jyotish. So here's a link to the Jyotish study group for those of you who might be interested. I think it's going to be fun and deeply informative. We're going to start with the koshas, the chakras, and the gunas as they relate to the planets and signs, and start to look at how to read a chart and what information gives to us. So we'll start on this Friday, and then we'll be moving through almost every Friday, unless I'm traveling, in which case we'll do a different time and day. But it'll create this great community to study Vedic astrology and to understand its application to your life. All right. Are there any other questions before I sign off, friends? Oh, I was going to show you the circle of the nakshatras. Let me see here. Okay. If I can screen share. Here we go. Screen share. Allow. Okay. So these are the signs, and you can see then in this white ring around the edge, these are all the star signs. And then these are the steps, the padas in the star signs. And so you can see here, Rohini is right in the middle of Taurus. And then see here, right here is where I was talking about, where there's this Gandanta point, where Leo and Cancer meet. This is where water and fire meet, and there's no nakshatra but split between. They just meet up against each other. And then we travel all the way around here to Jesta and Mula. This is where water and fire meet. And then around here again, Revati and Ashwini meet up, and Pisces and Aries meet, fire and water. So this is a visual depiction of the signs and then the star signs. There are also something called Drekana, which divide the star signs even more. And the Drekana are almost like tarot images or something. They're just like a single type of like very basic energy that we get that don't really have a mythology. And so the Drekana are also quite interesting. So links are always good. Book recommendations for me. Yes, I'll be putting book recommendations in our Vedic Astrology study group as we get started on Friday, as well as reading suggestions, as well as software suggestions for you to look at. So all that will be there starting on Friday in our group. And I know, Marlene, that you have already joined. Are there any other questions about anything? I'll let you know where we're moving towards with the full moon. Let's see. So we just had the new moon in Bharani, who has the Shakti, Apa Bharani Nakshatra Shakti, which is the she who is carried away by the waters. And we had this whole water thing happen at our Panchakarma, our Ayurvedic healing that we are doing. And we are moving now towards the full moon in Vishaka in Scorpio. So this is a debilitation point for the moon. And so it's a good time to as we move towards that full moon, to really lay low during the moon debilitation point in Scorpio, in Vishaka, the triumphal arch. All right, friends, I'll chant some mantra and then we'll close off. Om Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Bandhuscha Saka Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Mama Deva Deva. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Srimatre Namaha. Thank you, friends, for joining on the live stream, and then also friends who are watching the recording. Be well. I'll see you on Friday. Those of you who are joining for the Chantra Jyoti study group. Take care.